Just because you're rich and you make a lot of money, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're wealthy. On this video, I want to give you 5 reasons that many people who look rich aren't really wealthy. Many people who are rich don't really become wealthy because there's a lot of things involved with wealth that just because you're rich don't mean that you can achieve them. And just because you make a lot of money doesn't mean that you can become wealthy. Just because you're a doctor, lawyer, engineer, whatever, making hundreds of thousands of dollars, even a business owner, doesn't mean you're wealthy. Rich and wealthy, 2 different things. First, a lot of rich people that we see that look rich, they're spending too much money. See, poor mismanagement hurts a lot of people who make a lot of money. See, because when you make a lot of money, it's easy to spend a lot of money. It's very easy. You can drive down the street and you get a want in your brain, and all of a sudden you can stop in a store and get whatever you want out of the whole store. That takes discipline. See, a lot of people that are rich and make a lot of money, they tend to overspend on things that they probably don't necessarily need, but they want. And so they end up spending a lot of money. See, if you make $200,000 a year, but you spend $200,000 a year, the net is 0, right? Because there's people that make $50,000 a year that ultimately have more wealth than people that make $200,000 a year. Because your real wealth is not measured in your income, because you always have to take in the other side of the equation, which is, what do you spend on? What are your expenses? And a lot of people that make a lot of money spend too much money and then end up wondering, where did all the money go, right? What happened? I had a whole bunch of money. I made $200,000 this year, but I only invested $5,000, $10,000, right? Now, the second thing that happens with a lot of people that make a lot of money, and what prevents them from actually becoming wealthy, is that they not only spend too much money, but they end up spending money they don't have necessarily and going into debt unnecessarily. So look, if you make a lot of money and you have a lot of money, but you say, you know what, I can afford the payments on that BMW. I can afford the payments on that Mercedes-Benz, or I can afford the payment on XYZ, you name it. You end up having excessive debt on things that you really don't have to have debt on, because you really have the money if you just had a little patience and had a little bit of a routine and had a little bit of delayed gratification. You don't have to go into debt to get what you're trying to get. But a lot of people that have a lot of money, they not only do they spend too much, but they overspend. To keep up with a lifestyle or a look, they end up spending more than they have. So that's why people always say, hey, if you make a lot of money, be sure that you have some discipline with the money, and be sure that you still live below your means, below what you actually have, so you can have a cushion of money to invest or save or put towards a larger appreciating asset or something in the future, right? Now, the third thing that gets a lot of people who are rich and it stops them from becoming wealthy is the fact that they don't save and invest what they probably should be saving and investing. So there's a lot of people that make a whole lot of money, right? They make $200,000, $300,000 a year, but guess what? They don't have a fully funded emergency fund. They don't have $30,000 in cash. A lot of people that are rich and make a lot of money, they don't have a lot of investments, right? Because what? They're spending too much and they're overspending. And so what happens is that leaves less money for your investments. That leaves less money to go into your stocks, your stock portfolio, your bond portfolio, your real estate portfolio, whatever the asset is that you should be investing in. A lot of rich people don't invest enough. They don't put enough of their money into investments and things that are appreciating and going up in value, because they're steady trying to put their money in things that go down in value. Shoes, clothes, cars, you name it. Things that are ruining their wealth, stopping them from gaining wealth, stopping them from building wealth. They're putting all of their hard-earned money, and they're making a lot of money, but they're putting it into the wrong things. The things that go down in value and that you buy for $40,000 today and it's worth $20,000 tomorrow, or worth $5,000 in 10 years, right? If you're steady doing that, then guess what? Not only are you losing money, but you're limiting the amount of money that could be growing in the future. and taking advantage of compound interest because you're rich, so you're bringing in all this money and you don't have the discipline or the know-how to flip that money into appreciating things, so you end up flipping it into a lot of depreciating things going down in value. 10 years later, you look back and say, man, I made all that money and you got nothing to show for it because you didn't build wealth. You was just rich. Your number one job as a high income earner, a person that makes a lot of money, a person that's rich, your number one job with the money is to turn and flip that money and make it grow so that your money turns into more money. Right now, I know there's other uses of money and you always want to give and help other people with your money, but money is supposed to make more money. Money is supposed to grow. And if you're rich or you're making a lot of money and you ain't making the money grow at the rate that it should be growing because you're not investing enough of it, that's on you. And ultimately, down the road, you won't be wealthy. You'll just be a person who used to be rich. Guys, if you're getting any value from this video, do me a favor, smash the like button, and most of all, share this video with someone who you know could use this valuable information. Also, feel free to drop me a comment below and let me know your thoughts. Now, let's get back to the video. Now, the fourth thing is just simply lack of financial education, lack of being prepared with finances. Right? And part of preparation is making sure you have things like an emergency fund, making sure that you develop things like habits of delaying gratification, habits of being disciplined, habits of saving, and habits of investing, and habits of taking good care and being a good steward over all this money that you're getting. Right? There's a lot of rich people who are not prepared for the money that they have coming to them. They're making a lot of money. They look like they have a lot of money. They got the cars, the houses, the whatever, the name brand this, the name brand that. They look like they got money. They bring in $300,000–$400,000 a year, but guess what? They're just not prepared to take that thing to the wealth level, right? And sustain it. This is the person that makes a lot of money, but they feel behind. They make a whole bunch of money, but they feel like they're living paycheck to paycheck. They make a lot of money, but they're still stressed out. They make a lot of money, but they're still anxious, don't feel like they have enough. Because they're not prepared. They don't understand or know what to do with it in order to manage it appropriately. They're ill prepared to have all the money that they're making. So they're rich, but they can never get wealthy until they change some behaviors, right? Or they make a lot of money and they're not prepared for an emergency. They make a lot of money, but they don't have a fully funded emergency fund that's ready to go in case something happens or goes wrong. So you want to get educated, get some financial literacy, and make sure you're putting money to the side so you are prepared for the wealth and prepared for issues, problems, or emergencies that happen. Now, the fifth reason that a lot of people who are rich don't become wealthy or can't become wealthy or won't become wealthy is because, hey, they just put more emphasis, more priority, and more focus on looking rich and looking like they're balling instead of actually balling, right? They think that they have to display their wealth as opposed to build their wealth in the background in silence, which is what real wealthy people do. See, real wealthy people, they don't wear their wealth, they don't drive their wealth, because their wealth is busy making more wealth, making more money. Their money is busy in the background working really, really hard back there, and they don't have to show it. They don't feel the need to show it. They don't feel the need to bring it out front. They don't feel the need to actually put it on display. See, that's what real wealthy people do. And a lot of rich people, especially people who don't understand the things that I'm talking about in this video, a lot of those rich people, as soon as they make more money, they go out and spend more money and buy more higher price stuff. They go from a Toyota Corolla when they was making $70,000 a year to a Lamborghini SUV when they're making $200,000 a year. So all of their money ends up getting trapped up into looking the part and making sure that everyone else knows that they have a little money. So my thing is this: if you're rich and you want to be wealthy, stop trying to ball. Stop trying to look the part. Stop trying to be flashy and start working on making sure your money is working real hard for you in the background as opposed to out front. Start building quiet wealth that doesn't have to speak. See, real wealth is not boisterous. It's not loud. It's quiet. So, hey, let me know in the comments section below if you can relate to what I'm saying. Do you know somebody, or are you that person who is rich, but you want to get wealthy. Or you know a rich person who wants to be wealthy, but they're not doing the things to actually be wealthy long term. Let me know in the comments below. And listen, the best person who's going to take care of the old you is the young you. Guys, take care of yourself and take care of other people. Until the next video, peace.